When I was a kid, I used to have a very active imagination. I would daydream and fantasize about stuff all the time. Like I remember I'd imagine myself catching the game-winning touchdown in the Super Bowl. Or fighting bad guys and dodging bullets in an action movie. But as I've grown up, I feel I've lost that sense of imagination and whimsy. Like I remember recently I was catching up with some high school friends, and we used to talk about fantasy football and video games and the girls we had crushes on. But now we're talking about investing and which high-yield savings account has the best interest rate. Like, what happened to us? We used to be fun and cool, and now we're talking about credit card benefits. And it's not like these are bad things to think about and talk about. Like, they're practical and important for adults. But I do feel I've lost this childlike wonder about the world. And I think that's when it hit me that I'm not a kid anymore. Because for me, the transition between kid and adult felt so sudden. Like technically it's when you're 18, but I was in college and adults were still telling me what to do, and I was still doing stupid stuff with my friends. And then I went to grad school after college because I couldn't find a job. So I still wasn't really an adult. And that just felt like extra innings of childhood. And then when I finally found a job, I'm in a new state. I'm 1,000 miles away from home. And suddenly I'm expected to be an adult. I'm supposed to know how to budget. I'm supposed to know what a 401k is. And so I think I was just expected to grow up really quickly. But I think there are things that you miss out on when you only think like an adult, when you lose touch with your inner child. Like, I think children are a lot more trusting and willing to depend on others. And of course, adult wisdom is knowing who you can trust and who to depend on. But I think far too often, the adult view is that, oh, I'm strong and capable on my own. I don't need someone else's help. And you probably are. But I think it's still wise to know when and how to ask others for help. And I think that takes a level of humility that children often do have and adults often don't. And another thing is, I think that kids have this sense of wonder and curiosity about the world that makes life more joyous and fun. Like when I was a kid, I'd read stories about Jesus walking on water and healing blind people, and I'd think, wow, that's so cool. God is so amazing. But then now, I read about his miracles and I think, why doesn't he do miracles anymore? Why doesn't he do anything for me? Can he turn my water into beer or something? And so I think there's this kind of skepticism and cynicism that you develop as an adult. And so I think we can learn a lot from the way that children see the world. And the Bible talks about this too. Like in the book of Matthew, Jesus says, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." And I don't think he means to be immature or stupid or naive. I think he means that I need to be more trusting and willing to depend on others and to depend on him and to not depend on myself all the time. I think he means to be humble like children, to recognize that I need help, that I need a savior, that I'm far from perfect, right? And I think it means to have eyes that see the beauty in this world that he's created, to see the goodness and the grace of God in the mundaneness of life. And so I think sometimes we grow up too quick and we try so hard to be these mature and responsible adults that we lose sight of the amazing things that are right in front of us. And so I think it's worth reconnecting with your inner child a little bit. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.